नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहो बेटा. I am JVWU TRIVEDI and today I am going to give a lecture on heredity and continuity of life. Now, what is heredity? The process by which the features of an organism is passed from one generation to another is called hereditary. And this process is done by genes, which define the characters of an organism. Now, Gregor John Mendel, the father of genetics, he worked on tree and he laid the foundation of modern genetics. Now, he called the traits which express themselves in an organism in every possible combination as dominant traits, and the traits we do not express are known as recessive traits. Then we have in the height, complexion, color of hair, eyes, shape of nose, etc. So these are the characters in human being and they are also called traits. Now they are inheritable characters or maybe morphological, anatomical or reproductive. Now the transmission of this characters according to the genetically based from parents to offspring is called hereditary. And the small variation or the difference which occurs is called variation. So hereditary is of great importance in the evolution process and it produces new species. Now we have the topic in this subtopic continuity of life. Now what is continuity of life? Now when the parents produce an offspring similar to themselves, that is called continuity of life. And for that we have the two types of reproduction. So first is asexual reproduction in which and second is sexual reproduction. Now asexual reproduction produces very small amount of variation. Now such a type of variation is not visible. So we can say the continuity of life comes from the that all cells come from pre-existing cells and they are formed by reproduction. So each organism continues to exist for some time and for their future continuity they will produce offspring. So there are two forms of reproduction, asexual and sexual. Now in the asexual, the new organism is generated without the participation of sex cells and they are only through the vegetative cells. So it is also called as vegetative reproduction. Now when single parent is there and the offspring is equal to the parent, it is called a clone because it is identical to the parent. Now different forms of asexual reproduction are fission, budding, fragmentation and sporulation. Now binary fission is the type of reproduction seen both in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Two identical daughter cells are produced in such time and it is very common in bacteria and archaebacteria. New species are formed every 20 minutes. So it is a very fast form of continuity of life. Then we have multiple fissions in which the nucleus divides repeatedly in the same cytoplasm and produces number of daughter cells simultaneously. And this is found in many protozoans like the malaria parasite. We also have budding. Budding is when any portion of the plant or animal bulges out and it produces along with the plasma membrane and later on it produces a plant similar to the adult which is called bulging. We see bulging in hydra, sponges and in higher plants also buds are formed which can be again grown into new plants. Fragmentation is a part in which the plant individual breaks into two or more parts and each fragment becomes capable of becoming a complete individual. Now this is seen in many of the bryophytes and in some algae also. Then we have sporulation. Now this is very common in the fungi where number of spores are produced in some bryophytes. So the spores are haploid and they produce haploid organisms only, and like fungi, plant, and ant. So asexual reproduction occurs in many of eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Then we come to the sexual reproduction. Now, in this type, two parents are required, and each of them contributes their sexual cells, that is the gametes, and both unite to fertilization and give rise to new individual, which is called the zygote. Now, these sex cells have the chromosome haploid number, that is N, and by fertilization, again the diploid number of the individual is restored. New genes are allowed to redistribute among the progeny, and these genes are from the parents, and the different combination thus produced with a recombination of parental characters and making more and more diverse evolution. So students, I hope you have liked my lecture, and this, if you have any query, please give it in the comment box. I will resolve it soon. This session was powered by digital version 2.0 of JVWU. Thank you and namaste.